Okay, this is grade 4, lesson 72, and we're going to take a look at finding information to solve problems. So on this one, we need to remember what we've been taught about problem solving. First of all, we want to, number one, write down what we know. Write down what we know. What do we already know according to the story problem given? And again, I emphasize read one line at a time, write that information down, and then go on to the next line. Because sometimes there's either extra information or we're not given enough information to answer our question. And so we want to make sure that we know all parts of the story. And also we have that problem solving process, right? It's always the same. Understand. This is the understand part. Okay. Understand. And then to method for solving. How are we going to solve? What's our plan? We need a plan. And then the third thing we always have is to actually solve it. So we're going to solve, underline that. Okay, understand, plan, solve. And this is the one we need to do always, right? We need to go check it out, check our answers, recheck the problem, go through. Okay, it's not just a quick fix thing. We want to actually understand, plan, solve, and check. So we're going to take a look at some examples in your book first. Okay, so if we look at example number 2, okay, we're going to go to example number 2 first. Alyssa collects keychains from different states she has visited and displays them on the pegboard. Okay, so information I know, she collects chains, okay, and she displays. All right, just in my own words, just a real quick fix as far as writing things down. Since Alyssa lives in Nebraska and her grandmother lives in Ohio, she always keeps Nebraska and Ohio keychains on the first 2 pegs. So we have Nebraska and Ohio, first 2 pegs. Okay. First 2 pegs. Doesn't change. We're going to keep those ones in the first 2 spots. Okay? How many different ways can Alyssa arrange the keychains in one row? So we want to find out, what are we looking for? We want to find out, it says how many different ways. How many? How many means to show me a number. Are there 4? Are there 5? Are there 7? Are there 10? What is it? So what we want to do then is we want to make sure that we figure out our plan. So with this one, I would probably make a list and see what I have. Now, I don't need to write down Nebraska and Ohio because we know those are always going to be in the first positions there. She has Texas, Maine, and Florida. So I'm going to start with that. Texas, Maine, and Florida. Okay? And we can just do abbreviations here just to save space and time. All right, so let's do TX for Texas, ME for Maine, and then FL for Florida. So that's our first way that we can have it. Of course, Nebraska, Ohio, Texas, Maine, Florida. So I'm going to keep Texas where it is. And then I am going to switch and put Florida next, and then Maine. Now I'm going to move Florida to the first position because once I flip-flop those two, that's done. Can't have any other arrangements with Texas being first. So then we'll put Florida first. We'll do Florida, and then we'll do Texas, and then we'll do Maine. And now I'll flip-flop Texas and Maine. We'll keep that Florida in the front position. We'll do Maine in the second position. And then Texas at the end. Now the only one who hasn't been at the beginning yet is Maine. So we're going to take Maine and we're going to put Maine in the front. And then we have Florida and Texas. And then again we're going to flip-flop those two. So we'll have Maine and then Texas and then Florida. Oops. Florida. All right. All right. So we have those different arrangements. Now if the Ohio keychain is first and the Nebraska keychain is second, then there are these six arrangements that can be made. Okay, but if we flip it to Nebraska first, so these are 6 with Nebraska first and then Ohio second. Okay, Nebraska, Ohio, Nebraska, Ohio, Nebraska, Ohio. But what if we switch these two? Instead of no, we're going to go on, right? So then we'd have Ohio, Nebraska, Ohio, Nebraska, Ohio, Nebraska, Ohio, Nebraska, Ohio, Nebraska, and Ohio, Nebraska. Same thing with these, but we just flip-flap the first 2 then. Okay, so let's see how many choices we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 arrangements. We have 12 arrangements. Now we go back and check. All right, so they said Nebraska and Ohio have to be on the first 2 pegs. It did not say that Nebraska always has to be first. It did not say Ohio always has to be first, but they're always in the first 2 positions. So that's why we can flip-flop them and make Nebraska first, then Ohio first, Nebraska first, then Ohio first. And it comes out that we can make 12 different ways of putting that together. Okay? Now, let's do one that's not in your book as far as the answers are concerned. Okay, let's look at lesson practice on 463. Okay, we still have the same top part there. Write down what we know and what we're looking for. Solve, plan, check. Okay? So let's see. What method are we going to use and what information do we know? It says read the following information, then solve the problem. Terrell did yard work on Saturday. Okay. So Saturday, yard work. Okay. He worked for 3 hours in the morning. Okay, 3 a.m. and 4 hours in the afternoon, 4 in the p.m. Okay, and hopefully you understand that I mean in the morning and in the afternoon. Okay, not 3 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right, and then it says he was paid $6 for every hour he worked. All right, $6 for every hour. Now there's a bunch of different questions that it asks us. So let's look at question A. How many hours did Terrell work in all? Again, there's that in all. That means it's going to be a bigger number. 3 hours in the morning. So if we look at letter A, we have 3 hours in the morning plus 4 hours in the afternoon equals 7 hours. Okay, that would be just using a mathematical equation or mathematical sentence right there. For B, how much money did Terrell earn in the morning? So he worked 3 hours in the morning times the 6 hours for each hour he worked, or $6. So 3 times $6 gives me $18. Again, I would go back over that, make sure that that's my answer that I want. 3 hours, $6 for every hour. 3 times 6 does equal 18, so that would be my answer for B. C says, how much money did Terrell earn in all? Well, how much did he earn in all? I have to figure out how many hours he worked, which is given to me by A. So he has 7 hours, and then he times that by the amount of money per hour. So I get $6 every hour We multiply that together. 7 times 6 gives us $42 in all. And D, we have one more question there. How many different amounts of money could you make using any two of the 3 coins shown below? Name the amounts. So we want to know the amount of money we could make using 2 of the 3 coins. All right, so what coins do we have? We have a quarter, we have a dime, and we have a $50. Okay, so the quarter's worth 25 cents, the dime's worth 10 cents, and that $50 worth 50 cents. And we can only have 2, so we kind of want to do what we did in that other one and kind of figure out a chart. How much money could we make and name the amounts. Okay, so let's figure out what we have then. We could start with what's listed there, the quarter. And I'm going to list the possibilities first. The quarter and the dime, the quarter and the $50. Then we have the dime and the $50. Why wouldn't I say anything, why wouldn't I do $50 and dime, or quarter, the dime and the quarter? Because I already have a quarter and a dime. It doesn't change the amount, or it doesn't say it has to be in a certain order. So the quarter and the dime is the same as the dime and the quarter. We don't need to change anything about that. So I double check to see, do I have all my options? Quarter, dime, quarter, $50. Okay, the quarter's been used with both choices. The only thing I have left is the dime and the $50. So now I'm going to add up their amounts. Quarter is 25 plus that dime, that gives me 35 cents. The quarter is 25, that $50 is 50. Add those two together, we get 75 cents. And then that last one, the dime and the $50, we have 50 plus 10, which gives us 60 cents. So when we look back at name the amounts that we could have 35 cents, 75 cents, and 60 cents. And we listed the different possibilities that we could have. Okay, so just make sure, like we said, to go over what you know, what you're looking for, the plan, solve it, and then go back and check. Make sure what you found is what the book or wherever asks you to look for that item. So are they looking for how much, how many, what kind? Make sure that you're looking and rereading that and rechecking your answers. Okay, and that's lesson 72.